attention.
Happen to have the shirt on. I did not know this was gonna happen.
I feel like this is a setup, y'all.
Show him the t-shirt. Show him the t-shirt, man.
Yeah, rep your set. Last time that he checked. Would you want people to give attention to Nipsey Hussle? Bear?
Yeah, because what he stood for. And I was finna give me to say nothing bad about him. Nothing against
Well, I'm just trying to understand because you
look, nobody wants to see gang culture promoted, right? But if
I don't know. Hold on. Why are you making that absolute?
Let me finish because you're gonna stop me before I get there. Who do you replace Nipsey Hussle with?
This is the hottest show on the planet right now.
What's the debate?
Ain't no debate.
Hot heat.
Nipsey Hussle story, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
So I'm getting on a plane from LA to New York, and I'm getting into my seat. Walter Mosley, the great writer, is on the right, Van Jones on the left. I'm on this plane, and this young man gets in and he says, "Excuse me, are you Michael Eric Dyson?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "Wow, I read your books." I said, "Are you Nipsey Hussle?" He looked at me like, he said, "Yes, I am." I said, and I pulled out my iPhone and I had his latest marathon playing right there. He was like, "Oh my God." I said, "Oh, I ain't talking to dog. I live it." You know? Right. And so for 4 and a half hours, we had a nonstop conversation. Right. Mostly led, by the way, by Nipsey Hussle. His intelligence, his curiosity, his wanting to know things. Right, to pick my brain, ask me certain things, respond to certain things. A remarkable.
Do you agree or disagree with Mr. Michael Eric Dyson said about Nipsey?
As far as like his character,
his character, him being a remarkable man.
Oh, I totally agree. I'm a fan.
Show him the t-shirt. Show him the t-shirt, man.
Yeah, rep your set. Last time that he checked.
But listen, though, on the real, like, hold on, we doing agree or disagree.
So
I agree.
Victor?
I agree. It's his first-hand experience.
Okay, Fresh?
I don't know Nipsey Hussle. I don't see how I would agree or disagree with the fact that that's his opinion on his meeting. I don't know.
Okay. He knows?
Yeah, I have to agree with Fresh. I don't know him, but as far as the intelligent part, I agree with him. I heard some of his interviews. He seemed like a inquisitive person, intelligent and open to a certain degree. So yeah, that part I agree with. Remarkable.
What about like what about would you Freshly, would you say what about Hitler? Would you say he's a remarkable person?
Define remarkable.
Whatever your definition.
Special in one way. That's how that's how I would define it. Special.
If that's the case, I mean, outside of just in terms of his accomplishments, if you removing a moral compass off of it, he is remarkable.
You know?
Same here. Yeah, same here. Outside the moral. But as far as Hitler did something that's different, that's unusual. So that's not many people is able to reach the heights and as far as the military science. So you have to put him up there.
I was just asking because I was seeing if remarkable, you thinking he's remarkable based off if you know him or not, but Fresh was consistent in saying that he doesn't know Hitler either. So I guess.
Well, no, we don't. There's just not enough.
Yeah, well, I have to say, yeah, in that way,
not enough.
Nipsey is remarkable.
Right, but for me, if that's the case, then I'm going to disagree because I haven't seen enough of Nipsey Hussle being remarkable or being outside the norm. He's a rapper.
I would say the way I was defining unusual, so different, special. So his circumstances being an underground, not really a famous rapper to reach certain heights.
Let's just use this definition of remarkable. Worthy of attention. Worthy of attention.
Worthy of attention. It depends. If we're talking about entrepreneurship,
to you, would you want people to give attention to Nipsey Hussle?
No.
Freshly, what about you?
No.
Bear?
Yeah, because what he stood for.
Victor?
Yeah, I'm all about representation.
Okay, cool. And so for me, I would say no. I wouldn't want people to give Nipsey Hussle any attention. So let's start with you, Bear. Plus, you got the shirt on right now. Why is Nipsey Hussle worthy of attention?
I happened to have the shirt on. I did not know this was gonna happen.
I feel like this was a setup, y'all.
If you dive in and look at his interviews and see what he stood for and his message, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't just ignorant rapper preaching, you know what I'm saying, death and destruction. I don't know if y'all ever delved into listened to his music, is what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But he had a message and he was executing his message in the community.
Mailbox money.
You know what I'm saying? He was executing his message. He had a whole little strip mall in the neighborhood. He was about to make what that was.
Slauson, he had the track meet or whatever it's called.
He was working on the STEM school.
STEM.
Also working on that healthy eating restaurant. Grocery store in the hood. You can't find no Whole Foods in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So he was working on that. Like, it's just the stuff he stood for, and him as a man, as a person, what he represented.
Okay. What about Victor? What about for yourself? You said you're all about representation, right?
Yeah, because we talk too much about we want the community to come together, or we need to heal our communities. And he was about his community. And nobody's going to go in and fix wherever you from. So if he's taking ownership of that, that's one less complaint that we can have. So in that regard,
and provide,
he was worthy of attention and protection, because I think people have to fix their situations privately, meaning like your community doesn't exist if your household isn't together. You know, it got to happen on a micro scale. You can't have a macro opinion change any particular thing. And if you're not willing to do the work internally, it's not going to reflect anywhere else. So, you know,
Gotcha.
From that small scale leadership and Black masculinity and representation, I think that's why he's worthy of attention in that regard.
Gotcha. And so I want to just open up Enos or Freshly. Who wants to take it? Because y'all on the opposing side along with me. Who wants to go first on why they think he's not worth
Enos, you got it.
The attention?
Because he's the embodiment of contradiction. At one end, he's saying he's for the community. At another end, he's promoting gang violence. So it would be different if he was an entrepreneur. We didn't know his personal life, but he's promoting the Crip culture, the Rolling 60s. And I don't think that's a person like that's worthy of attention.
Okay. Fresh?
Just to kind of piggyback on what Enos was saying, the problem with it is he is a walking contradiction, and he's asking you, right, when we laud him, we are conveniently ignoring the other half of his message. So it's a real kind of exception to the rule, so to speak. Like, well, he's doing something positive, so we just gonna rally behind him. But we don't critique the other stuff that he's talking about. Like, he died from gang violence. He didn't get out of a gang. He never denounced a gang. And again, I'm from that environment, so I'm not necessarily knocking. I'm saying if we're going to consider him a hometown hero, if we're going to consider him, someone that we should look up to, then we're going to have to examine everything that he's talking about and not just pick and choose what we want. Because I think he did have some positive impact in the community. So I'm definitely not knocking it. But if we're going to examine the positive impact, we cannot conveniently leave out the fact that he smacked a civilian or a reporter for talking to him in a way that he didn't like on TV. So why most of us may agree with that type of thing is that's what I'm showing my kids. That's what I'm showing my young boys, that they should act like that. No. So we have to consider, and I think that in that space we have so few folks that we can kind of put on a pedestal that we are willing to make exceptions to put, and I don't want to say anybody, but put anyone who's doing anything, right? Put any light up there, and we'll just go with that. But I don't think that's what we should be. I don't think that should be the goal.
Yeah. So having said that, Bear, what about what Enos and Freshly says? Would you say that you agree with and disagree with?
I don't agree because I feel like black people are the only people that feel like we got to be above reproach to give a message. Get the meat from the message, even no matter who the message is. I feel like us as a people, we the only ones that condemn ourselves. Well, you used to do this, so you can't tell me that. I don't care what he used to did. I used to do a lot of crazy stuff. I ain't that man no more. You know what I mean? I'm not.
He was. I don't.
I'm not that guy no more.
Go ahead, Fresh.
I was just saying. I don't think he was used to doing it. He was still repping 60. As often as he talked about positive things in the community.
I mean, I never.
He was pushing.
I
Crip.
saw him push.
All his song titles got the double C's in them.
But
Like it's not something. It wasn't his past life. It wasn't something he left behind.
Yeah, his last album, he was promoting.
Yeah,
promoting
every
heavy
positive
gang
thing.
culture.
You looking at
I saw him promoting unity in the games, though. What I saw.
But it's still
But
gangs.
Blood.
why would you want?
Blood.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
My bad. One of his main collaborators was a blood. He wasn't pushing violence. Like he was pushing unity with the gangs. That's what I saw. Like, oh, what's the dude named YG? YG's a blood. Him, they got damn near a whole album together. So I didn't see him pushing gang violence. Just you can't help who you. So it's like this. Once you commit to something, you pick a side. You got to choose, but you could choose to be positive. Most old gang members, they don't gang bang no more. You know what I'm saying? And they be.
Well, real quickly, Barry, I want to make sure because you're saying a lot of good points. I want to make sure that they can address them. You know, real quickly because Victor is also on that side too. Victor, do you have anything you wanted to add?
I think it's hypocritical.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's hypocritical. We just had a topic about not throwing out logic, and I just think that we have to take all things into consideration, good, bad, and indifferent. And I think it's human beings are flawed, and if he ain't hurting children, I think we need to take what he's done and contributed and put it on the scale before we just throw it all out.
Okay,
I agree.
I think it's going against logic. The thing he's promoting is kill culture. According to the CDC, the number one death, the cause of death for black boys from 14 to black men that's 40 is gun violence.
And so you're addressing the point about him saying hurting kids, right?
That's hurting kids. Okay. He's advocating people to continue that. So that's going against. You said keep logic on the table. That's what I'm saying. It's a contradiction.
So here's the logic part, right? Who could you swap him out with to make the youth listen to? Who could they accept a message from?
The youth?
I know how I'd want to answer that, but I didn't want to take away from fresh and
all right, so be quiet then.
On mute, sir.
and before you think about this while I set this up the right way. I've seen the US go to countries that produce opium and they say we're going to swap the opium out with corn. Opium grows naturally. Okay. A place like Afghanistan produces 82% of the world's opiates. And the US tried to go in there and say, hey, we don't want any more drug trade going into Europe. Start growing corn instead. In a place is where it grows wild, like dandelions. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work, needless to say. They had a poppy eradication program. They just went around just burning up crops of poppy because it's not indigenous to there. They're not going to just be able to remove something that grows wild. Okay. Now think about that same logic. Okay. All of those guys that's out in the LA gang culture and how that looks, they're not worried about STEM education. It's just going to take a whole lot of steps of generational trauma removing, therapy, education, and consistency. You know, he was the start point of that, potentially. You know, we don't know what he would have done. He got killed at 33 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how much momentum he would have been able to generate for himself, for his own community. And that's the other thing too. He was taking responsibility of his own community that he came from, regardless of how it looked, regardless of our opinions. So with that being said, who or what could have replaced Nipsey Hussle to move the needle forward without the gang culture piece, which represents the people that speak that language on the ground?
Anybody,
it's
a
not.
person
Hold
who could
on,
replace
Enos.
Nipsey.
Hold on, real quick.
All right, go
Enos.
ahead.
You don't have to replace Nipsey. You have to replace the message. That's the problem. When you're considering the message, right? When you're considering him as a net positive, you have to consider everything. And that's where you're talking about with the logic. You want to put it on the scale. It's on the scale. So no one's taking away his positive his positive accomplishments. The problem is they in no way outweigh his negative his negative goodness gracious, I'm having a brain fart. His negative things that he's done in his life. So if we're just going to put it on a scale right here, and the problem is at no point in time did he do a 180 and go the other direction, right? So the only thing he did was add positive to his negative. Hey, I'm still doing the gang thing, right? So everything that comes with gangs, regardless of how you want to frame it, contributions to where I was looking for. Everything that you're doing with the gang culture, right? It is all encompassing. You can't just take the positive parts out of gang culture, right? So the problem is you don't have to replace Nipsey. He would have been fantastic if his message would have been, hey, what I was doing growing up was not the way to do it. I denounced this culture. Here's what you should be doing. Here's what you should be doing, taking care of it. So if he would have done that, I would have, my answer at the beginning would have been different. The problem is he didn't. The problem is he was just adding. He's just putting on top of it. So now if I'm showing it to my kid sees that the path to what Nipsey Hussle did is through gang culture. And that's not the message I'm trying to deliver. Like, so you telling me I could be a Crip, I can go out and do the gang violence, I can sell drugs, I can harm my community, as long as at the end, when I realize, at a certain point that I might have been wrong, I just start putting drug money and money that comes from pedestalizing my violent past and nature, put it back into the hood, right? So we're even, right? And that's not the case. So the message is wrong. It's not necessarily the messenger. He would be perfect to reach the denizens of youth that we're trying to reach, right? He would be perfect to reach inside the gang culture and pull people out. The problem is that's not what he's doing. He's actually drawing more people. If you think that Nipsey Hussle is a net positive, you see him as a positive figure, then you also see the fact that he's a rolling 60s Crip as positive. That's not, and for me, that's not the message I'm trying to push to the youth.
I guess too, the other part.
I do want to ask you a question, Victor.
Yeah.
Who can replace him?
Yeah.
A person that reverends a moral hierarchy. So somebody who's a virtuous person who's consistent in their moral standards. That's what person. So that means that system, that person that's the moral hierarchy that they following, the focus is not on the person, it's more focused on the message. That's the person that can replace somebody like a Nipsey. Because there's more emphasis on Nipsey than what he actually stood on. Because it's confusing.
I understand exactly what you mean, and that these are obviously utopian, ideas, and because, like, again, going back to like the previous conversation about you got to take everything into consideration, like the Jordan Peterson thing, right? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Like, how much of his catalog have you guys listened to?
How much of it, like percentage wise?
Yeah.
I listened to majority of his albums. I say over like 75%, 80%.
Well, so do you remember a lot? I guess it when you listen to someone, certain notes are going to resonate with you.
But I want to say this about the moral hierarchy. I think we're forgetting or we're confusing somebody that has an entrepreneur spirit. We're equating that with somebody that's a high moral character.
No,
getting money dude is not equivalent to somebody with high.
I agree with that completely.
So he's consistent with the money. I listen to him. He's consistent about making money.
I'm talking about principle, understanding stuff, and because those are the notes that resonated with me. Because, like, yeah, I get this, the rolling 60 stuff. That's gonna resonate with somebody else that's understanding that too, which is the majority of people that's in that particular part of town.
But you said principles. What kind of principles resonated with you?
Well, the principles, a lot of the stuff that he talked about was like there's some songs in particular, I don't remember them off top, where he was telling them to stop doing crime. They got cameras everywhere. Get out the street.
That's not a good reason to stop doing
It's not a good
crime.
reason to stop doing crime. It's not a moral reason to stop doing crime. Stop doing crime because you're gonna get caught.
Can I finish? I'm just saying he knows how to talk to his audience. That's what I'm saying. You got to understand the consumer of your content. That's one of the things that we learned in briefing, is that you have to deal with the audience. You have to deal with who's actually consuming your content. Meaning, like, if you're gonna go walk into a place where nobody knows what 2 + 2 equals, right? And you're
real quickly, Victor. I think we get your point. I want everybody to be able to, because Bear hasn't been able to talk for a while, and I don't know if we're really addressing each other's ideas. So I don't know if you want to address something they said, or or they let them address something you said, or Bear, you want to jump in?
I feel like I don't think they've listened to his catalog
at all.
I feel like no. What they're saying about him, his catalog speaks completely different of it. I've heard.
Let them know, Bear. Let them know.
I've heard 100% of his catalog, and
yes.
If I die today, I made a set proud.
That's what
he doesn't promote gang violence though. Like
that's his lyrics.
No, he promotes gang culture.
Hold on, let me say
violence
the verse.
Comes with
let me say the lyric. Fresh. Let me say the lyric before that. I could fly away, but I respect vows. If I die today, I made the set proud. That's his lyrics. He's more consistent in promoting. Look at all his tattoos. I listened to his albums. All his tattoos are gang affiliated, even to his death. And all his albums, the ones I listened to, over like 70-80% from Victory Lap to Mailbox Money to Chris Shaw. I listen to a lot of his music. It's consistent with LA gang culture more than helping the community. So
get him, Bear. Get him.
I'm gonna say this. You can't. Where you from is where you from. Who you are is who you are. But I don't see him promoting. I don't hear him recruiting.
That's
niggas.
Not true.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay, so what is that? The lyrics I'm rapping.
No, let him finish. Let him finish.
Wait, let me get my point out. Let me
talk.
Go
ahead.
What I'm saying is, I don't hear him promoting gang violence. I don't hear him recruiting young kids to gangs. I hear him tell you, stay out the street, get a job. I heard skits where and a young boy, he telling the young boy, oh, you stay in school, do this, do that. I haven't heard him glorifying the gangster life. I've heard him giving the harsh realities and the downfalls of it. I haven't heard him saying, yeah, this is what you want to do, this is what you need to be. I'm having telling niggas to get out of it.
He never stopped.
So Bear,
how can he tell folks to get out of the gang culture and he never actually got out?
Percentage wise.
But again, how can he tell? He's not telling people to get out of the gang. I
did you hear
promise
me?
that. He's not even practicing what he's preaching in. If that's the case, if you're saying he's telling them to get out of the gang, he's still repping 60s on every album. Every
only way out is death when it comes to gangs.
So essentially he's telling all these kids that's listening to him that's in the gang, right? His
let them stay in unless you're gonna die.
He's telling them to get out. So he's telling them to die. Blood in, blood out.
What I'm saying is he's not promoting gang life. He's not saying, hey, this is the way to go.
He literally he is representing.
I think the moderator. You have something moderate?
No, sir. I don't have anything.
He's speaking on 60s every time. I ain't never heard him talk bad about Roller 60s Crip.
the lyric.
I never hear him renounce them. Right? I never hear him renounce gang culture. So he may not be promoting violence, but violence is an integral part of gang culture. So as long as he's repping 60s, as long as that's his forefront, he leads with that. He's not.
My thing is this: once you make a decision, you there. So I mean, like he's there, but he's not. I don't feel like
right. You can denounce that at any time. Stanley Tookie Williams wrote books where he's saying I made the wrong decision. The things I did in the name of the gang were wrong. I ain't heard Nipsey say none of that. And Tookie is his OG. Huh?
He was trying to get out. He was trying to get out Shanghai.
But again, now you're talking about what we was talking about earlier, where I can't take things at face value. So I can only go off what he said. If I'm gonna throw logic out and start looking at underlying context, then this whole conversation is a dub. The man wrote it in his book.
Off of death row. Logically, you gonna renounce that. He trying to get off death row.
Nah, there's you. So you don't think there's other Crips on death row? Every Crip on death row ain't denouncing it. So it doesn't apply across the board.
But you don't know what they denounced. Their case wasn't the biggest to us.
So
anybody can write a book. Anybody can get a message out from prison. You can write a letter, like any of that stuff. You can they have access to social media.
Let me just say this, just for the audience, so we can advance the conversation. I'm sure both Bear, you would agree that there are people who, just like John Gotti died of gangsters, there are Crips who die Crips and don't denounce Crips just because they're going to die. I think that's Fresh's point, right? And then there's people like Tookie who have denounced it. And we're speculating on why he did or didn't denounce it. And your guess is as good as mine. But I think Fresh is saying, I'm taking him at his word, because that's what he said. You're saying that he was doing it to get out of the chain gang. And we can't get any further than that at that point. So as far as going back to the Nipsey thing, correct me if I'm wrong, Victor, Bear, some Freshly, but the two sides is, one side is saying because of his association and affiliation with the Rolling 60s Crips,
a domestic terrorist group.
Yeah, you would not want to
pedestalization.
Pedestalization. You wouldn't want to platform him. And then Bear and Victor, you're saying that even though he had that association, he promoted a lot of things that was great for the community, and he represented the community in a great way and showed his love for the community. So even in spite of the other things, he's still worthy of being platformed. Is that a good summation of everybody's position?
We got a president with 34 felonies. I think he'll get a pass.
Okay, then.
So,
but he'll get a pass from who?
Black people.
His neighborhood.
Sorry, real quickly. I just want to make sure, because my understanding is the difference between a guy with 34 felonies and a guy with like a Nipsey is I don't know what felonies Nipsey didn't have, but they're saying his affiliation and promotion of a gang. Now, if Trump was promoting a certain gang, I'm assuming y'all would say he shouldn't be platformed either. Is that true? So Freshly,
he repping the boys. He called them out.
He's repping who?
What's that group? The Proud Boys. The Proud.
Is he a Proud Boy?
He called them out when he right before they started.
But is he a Proud Boy?
Is he a Proud Boy?
I don't know.
Look at that song. That song.
Again, if you don't know,
I don't stress out. I'm gonna ask Victor and Bear. I could fly away, but I respect vows. If I die today, I made the set proud. Is that glorifying the set?
I mean, I feel like standing on his word.
Do I think I look at it just standing on his word and represent where he's from. Like,
once you made it,
but those aren't. So I guess the thing is, like, I think that saying that.
What do we know about the Rolling 60s? As like outside, what I mean is
they're one of the most violent of the gangs. I mean, my understanding is they're one of the most notorious of the gangs.
One of the biggest Crip gangs in LA, most strongest gangs.
I got that. I got that part. I got the general terminology of it, right? Well, when I talk about gang culture, right? These guys are really like born into it. They have been conditioned. They parents on this stuff. And when you think about it, and I'm not making no excuses. I'm not gang affiliated with nobody. Okay. What I'm saying is that people's conditions are always going to be the reason that they use to justify whatever they do. So when you're on the outside of something and you're judging it and you're not there, you got to be careful with certain conversations. And that's why I said all of my commentary about this situation is relative to how he represents where he's from and where they comfortable with seeing somebody. You're not going to be an outsider and go into a place like that and think.
Well, hold on, Victor. I don't know. My audio went. I'm sorry. Did y'all agree that he glorifying? Yeah or nay? I didn't hear that answer from neither one of y'all because my audio went out. That lyric I quoted, was that considered glorification?
No, not in my opinion.
Really?
I don't consider it glorification.
So real quickly, instead of getting to the specifics of it, Victor and Bear, would y'all say that he ever glorified or promoted the gang?
Y'all already said he did, so it don't matter.
I'm saying, but do you believe he did? But do you personally believe he did?
I don't think you can promote anything without being. If you're already part of something, you automatically promote it.
Okay, so Bear, do you agree with that? Bear, do you agree with that or no? What Victor just said?
I don't think he glorified it. He just was who he was, but he didn't glorify it.
So okay, well, if we can take glorify out because that's kind of like a archaic religious. At any point, did he promote gang culture at any moment in time in his 10 years in music?
I mean, it depends because I
just yes or no if you don't mind. If you don't mind, like, are you saying there is no definitive yes or no on this?
It is no.
So are you saying you can't recognize somebody's promoting something or not, or you're saying you're just unsure of his?
I don't feel like he was though. I'm not going to give me to say nothing bad about him. Nothing.
Well, I'm just trying to understand because you may not consider it bad to promote a gang. So I don't want to make that assumption about you. I just want to know if you thought he ever did do it.
He was glorifying or promoting nothing negative. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So you're not sure if he promoted the gang.
I don't feel like he promoted nothing negative. That's what I'm saying.
Would you say a gang is negative?
I don't feel like he promoted nothing negative.
Okay, I'm asking you a different question. Ben, would you do you consider a gang negative?
Negative. I'm saying that, and there's no else.
Okay, is this an example of the last clip we did about leaving the logical part of the conversation? Is that fair to say?
Come on, Bear.
Hey,
Bear, you gotta stand on your 10 toes, man.
No, I'm being logical. I'm being logical because this is what I'm saying. I don't feel like he promoted.
Yeah, you said that 1,000 times, but I'm asking.
I know. Forget about what you feel. What you
mind
think.
mind you, you're a businessman, and Victor, we're all business people. We know about what promotion entails. If y'all are celebrities and I get y'all to do a commercial for me with my brand, you are promoting my brand. We all understand basic promotion, right? So what I'm saying, was Nipsey promoting gang culture? That's a business question. As a businessman,
I already said he was.
No, I know you. I'm talking about Bear.
Man, y'all ain't finna. I said what I said. I don't fit. No. No.
So okay. So this is my issue. I don't fresher. Y'all got anything to say? Because this is really y'all got anything to say about that? So for me, Bear, can we at least agree this is your spot, your place where you go, I'm going to depart from accountability of reason and logic?
No, I'm not. No, see,
because you're refusing to answer. You're refusing to answer at this point.
No, you're taking what I'm saying and spinning it. I said no because
I just asked the question.
I still feel like everything that he promoted. I just feel like all the.
That's a different topic. We already cleared that up. I'm asking you, did he promote gangs?
No, because he wasn't recruiting nobody. He wasn't telling nobody to join the gang.
We didn't say recruit, Barry. We said promote.
We didn't say recruiting.
Wearing the blue rags, wearing the blue clothes.
Let me ask you this, Bear.
He was not out there trying to make niggas become.
Bear, let me ask you this question then. I have a business. If I ask you to,
he wasn't recruiting nobody to be.
Let me ask you a question, Bear. I have a business. If I ask you to do a commercial for me, are you promoting my brand?
I got a better
all I want you to do is wear my shirt and say, "Come on." You don't know what all I'm done is ask a simple question.
Was Puma promoting Crip?
It's still no. I get what you're saying. Every scenario you can take the twisted. I still get what you're saying, but it's still no.
Hold on. I just want to make sure the audience hears it. I just asked Bear if I asked him to do a commercial for my business where he wears the clothes and says, "I look nice in this." I asked him, "Is that him promoting my brand?" And he said he's going to maintain. It's no.
I never answered that question.
Oh, okay. Do you mind answering it?
I didn't even get that far. I said it doesn't matter what scenario you bring up. My answer to the original question is still no. No matter what you bring up.
So what about what? That's I get it. The original question, your answer is still no. But what about the question now?
I'm still put like this. We can just on the topic. That's how I feel on it.
So basically,
you're not going to answer.
Was Puma promoting?
I plead defensive.
That's what you should have learned from Trump.
I think you do agree with me, though. The funny thing, I think you do agree with me, but because of your love for Nipsey, you're bending the rules for him. And real quickly, Victor, that's my whole issue. And I brought this up numerous times on the shows. is my biggest issue when we platform guys like Nipsey and T.I. and all these guys who are big into entrepreneurship and being smart and all that kind of stuff. Is the biggest group of people that are affected is not the people who are actually doing those crimes or even the victims, it's the sympathizers. There's people who, whenever we allow evil like that to go unchecked and undealt with, it lowers people's tolerance, higher people's tolerance of it to where it doesn't seem as bad as it used to seem. So now, if you go back to the 70s, you go back to the 60s. Put your mic back a little bit. Sorry. My friends who are African and stuff like that, in Zimbabwe, and they say they have gangsters over there too. But in Africa, in their communities, those gangsters, they're not celebrated. There's no rap album for those gangsters. The people know who they are, and they don't associate with them. They don't deal with them. It's the line is a little bit more clear. Over here, you can be one of the biggest domestic terrorists on your own people and support people like that. You see what Big U's going through? That's his OG. You see what Big U's going through right now, all this stuff with the extortion, all that kind of stuff? That's who Nipsey Hussle supported and reported to. And we're saying a guy like that, we're going to give him a platform to speak to the youth?
Who else going to speak to him? They ain't finna listen to you.
No, that's your assumption. People have always been speaking to you, from Malcolm X to Martin Luther King to all the youth programs I mentioned before.
That right there is arrogance, though.
Well, listen,
let me say something, Bear. Because let me tell you why. In real
hold on. Before you get to the why, what part was arrogance? I didn't hear that part.
Somebody else can speak to him. You bring up Malcolm X and everything else, and like they got.
I didn't say somebody else. I said people have always been speaking to them. They never stop. Everybody's been doing it.
He went from where they was from. They're gonna
people spoke to me when I was a youth, and I listened. So the thing is, people have always been speaking.
I'm saying specifically about LA gang culture. They're not gonna talk to nobody. There's
a church on every corner, and go to those ministries. They have countless stories of thousands of kids coming out of gangs. Thousands of kids come out of gangs all the time. You can go Google it right now on YouTube.
Victor, you act like the roller sisterhood is a third world country. They in LA.
It's in America.
It's a lot of opportunities.
One of the richest states in the country.
Out there.
He brought up African warlords. I'm talking about trying to get to the point where it's relative. I'm talking.
No, I was about the African warlords. You were saying that people that's conditioned. You act like they far removed from the Western society. LA is close in proximity to a lot of opportunities and other influences.
It's one of the richest states.
I understand. You guys are talking about tangible things, and I'm not saying that those items won't have an impact if they put together the right way. What I'm talking about is cultivating relationships with people that live there so they can actually get down to the root of the problem. I think it needs therapy. I think it needs a lot of other, like psychological healing to go along with it. Churches don't just fix things. If you don't know people, you're gonna look like a foreigner going into these places.
I agree with everything you said so far. Just so you know, Victor, I agree with everything you've said, but I don't think that's proof that he should have a platform. But I do agree with everything you're saying.
But the thing, my question, going back to the original, if you're going to have a plan, right? Let's just say you got a plan to fix it, and it makes sense, and we're like, yeah, who are we gonna pick to execute the plan?
Nobody that's affiliated with gangs.
How do you win the hearts and minds of the people in that particular area to take what you're saying seriously?
Somebody that's consistent in the message, not contradicting themselves.
Who?
Not somebody who's promoting gang violence and saying they're helping the community. That's what I'm saying. Somebody who's not doing that. That's my point. That just shows where we at as a people that he's the best representation for the youth. That says a lot about us.
Stop. Listen to what you're saying. We had somebody that we could have worked with if he had been alive long. I understand his own culture took him out, his own neighborhood took him out, right? But what I'm saying is, if you get somebody and you don't nurture the things around them, this will keep happening. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, even though nobody wants to see gang culture promoted, right? But if
I don't know, hold on. Why
Let me finish because you're going to stop me before I get there. Who do you replace Nipsey Hussle with?
But why do you assume we have to replace him?
Because the problem is that you guys are talking about the violence and the language and everything associated with gang promotion, right? And then there's plenty of documentation and stories about him trying to quell the violence. He absolutely worked with the police to try to get better police relationships on the ground in his own community, right? But if he got taken out, he didn't get a chance to build on that, right?
Hold on. You remember my question?
No.
I'm asking you, remember my question.
My question is still this.
What was your question? I didn't hear.
No. Remember, Victor asked the question. Hold on, sorry, Victor. You asked the question. You said, who are we going to replace Nipsey Hussle with? I said, why do we have to replace him? I'm still waiting for you to answer that question.
Why do you have to replace him? Because
yes, I'm impatiently waiting.
You actually had a person that had investment in his own community. There's nobody else that's there that can hold that same spot. Obviously,
I disagree with that. I mean, there's plenty of people. If you're
aware,
and then now it comes back to who?
His business partners.
There's plenty of people. Hold on. There's people who are not even. There's plenty of. Again, that's the second. That's one of the biggest states and one of the richest states. They have plenty of programs of people doing that stuff. It's happening.
Like
He's just.
Who?
If you ask about who
highlighted.
There's the police have programs, the community centers have programs, the libraries have programs, the church have programs, the schools have. Need I continue?
And Marcellus Wiley, football player, said he donated.
Like you just named,
donated a lot of money to stop gangs.
How about we do a show with a bunch of names of people that have replaced Nipsey Hussle?
Well, hold on, but why did you still haven't answered the question? Why do we got? I've been asking you, why do we got to replace him? You go in and speaking about the things he did, but you don't say.
But I answered it already because the people in his community related to him.
No. It's not again. Everybody finds a reason to relate to people. I relate to you in some ways. I don't know where you live. I still relate to you in some ways because you said things that relate to me. You can relate to whoever you want to relate to, and you cannot relate to whoever you don't want to relate to. That's a psychological thing. So again, we can't say, the people who look like him killed him. So just like people related to him, he had people that look like him murdered. People murdered him. You don't know that if you would have had a bigger or a lesser impact on dealing with the gang violence as he did, because as far as I know, in my anecdotal experience and what we've seen is that he helped promote and proliferate gang culture. He made it cooler. He showed that you could be smart and be a gang member. He shows that you could be industrious and entrepreneurial and be a gang member. He helped build the gangs. He didn't hurt the gangs.
Wow.
I mean, if you diametrically oppose, there's no answer that anybody can tell you, though.
You mind clarifying that for me?
Meaning, like, if you're on one side of it, like we're divided on this topic, right? About I don't know.
And I appreciate y'all giving y'all's input too.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the true division of it is, right? It is because it's just really just opinions about the situation. None of us live in LA. None of us know what's going on the ground. We do agree that gang culture is not helpful. And
to say it mildly.
I'm you know what I'm saying? But we also saw that Puma invested in him. We also saw him attract.
I don't get why you bringing that up. Okay.
Again, we get the business and the practical element of it. I'm with you on that.
If you guys would let me finish, I'm still going to come back to the fact that okay, if we're diametrically opposed, there's nothing that I can say that's going to change your mind. And I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm asking you for a solution since you don't agree. And how would you implement it? And that's what I'm listening to. Okay, got it. We don't like Nipsey Hussle. Cool. Find me another solution. Find me somebody else that we can highlight and bring attention to if that stuff is already being done.
My solution would be, because remember, and I just want to take everybody back, the audience as well, back to the original question, which was we talked about remarkable. We found out it meant somebody that we thought was worth platforming, basically, or worth giving an audience to, right? And I'm saying that I'm saying that anybody that is doing the work, if they are representing or promoting any type of negative organizations, terrorist organizations, we would not give them a platform. They can still donate money. They can do things. We're not going to give them a platform to speak because I would do this, I would bring people to listen to Victor. Why? Because everything that Victor talks about, I may not agree with every single thing, but your general gist is not going to lead anybody in the wrong way. So I would platform Victor. I would platform Freshly. But the thing is, I'm not going to platform Suge Knight. I'm not going to platform Mob James, because the good that they have is going to come with them promoting gang mentality and gang thing, and that's going to affect the kids because, as to quote Charleston White, they don't recruit grown men, they recruit boys, and the allure and the pull is so strong. Even private school kids in Yonkers want to be involved in the streets. That's how strong their organization is. They got Serena Williams crip walking during the Super Bowl. That's how strong their promotion is, how strong their pull is. And if a lot of us don't get in step with the right thing to do and say we're not going to allow people like that to share these big platforms and represent us, it's never going to change, because they make being a gangster look cool.
I think it'll change if we highlight the people that's doing the right work, because like you're never going to get away from people that's not doing the work.
You just open the door with people that's promoting, that's committed to violence. That's what the Crip gangs represent, the blood gangs. You open the door for
that.
I think he froze.
Yeah,
but sorry, go ahead, Fresh, and then Barry, you up next.
Let me ask a question. If you see a we'll call him a skinhead, you see a skinhead, or in prison they're gonna call him a peckerwood, white supremacists to all encompassing, right?
Yeah.
If you see them get out, right, let's just say, because there are those of them who have denounced or have gone good. They're not actively doing that stuff anymore. If they start doing good deeds and they still have their tattoos and they still have their memorabilia, and they go to white supremacist events. Now again, this is not talking about what they're actively doing, right? They may be, hey, I'm bringing school supplies to white supremacist events. Are we taking that guy serious, or are we counting him as a net positive without actively denouncing what he was doing? He just changed paths, right?
I need the announcement. I need to answer your question. I don't.
Yeah, I still fly the flag. I still got my ink.
I'm cool with that. Yeah, for sure.
Are we gonna go around? Are we gonna go around on that one, Fresh, or no?
Well,
let's go around.
I don't want nothing from anybody that's affiliated with that.
Right. So in terms of go ahead, Bear.
Man, you lost me with white supremacy. I ain't fooling with no way.
So this is where logic has to kick in, right? You guys are adding circumstance to it. It's the same thing. It is the same thing. If you remove yourself out of your personal box and just look at it from 3,000 feet up in the air, it's the same thing. They both came from violent cultures. They both promoted those violent cultures. They both did things in the furtherance of those violent cultures. And we're essentially saying that one of them, because they are doing positive things now, even though they don't denounce or they didn't get rid of any of their memorabilia, they didn't get rid of any of their ink. They actually haven't spoken negatively about the organization at all. They just, okay, now I am going into the community, right? So I am donating school supplies. I'm trying to get,
well, you shared a lot of that stuff already. I want to add one point to what you said.
I just want to say this: the
bigger that person gets, the bigger what they represent gets too. If I have Victor representing if Victor's representing Vulcan Soapbox and Victor becomes the biggest podcaster in the world, guess what Vulcan Soapbox becomes? One of the biggest platforms in the world under his by association. I mean, that's just basic business, right? Can we all agree that's basic business?
Yeah.
I guess.
He's putting the Crips in business.
That's marketing 101.
Business.
Let me talk, right? I need to cook. Please don't interrupt me. I have because I have real world experience of what you guys are talking about in foreign combat countries. Okay, when you want to go into a different place, you have to do business with the warlords. You guys probably ain't never had that real experience, like where a guy got 300 bodies and he crossing over back and forth between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And that's the only guy that we got to work with to help get on our side. And so my experience is very unique compared to what everybody else's is. Okay. So it's not coming from, it's coming from a place where I'm trying to solve the problem and create a stable security environment. Okay. There's been times where we go to places and we come in with our plan and it don't make sense to the people who need the plan, that we know that they need the plan, but it doesn't go through the right channels. It sounds crazy.
Why do you think it doesn't go through the right channels?
Well, hold on, real quickly before that, Victor. I just want to say I do agree with you about that. I'm not saying we can't do business with them. I didn't want to interrupt, but I also want to say that, again, that's why I try to do my best to say, look, I agree with that point, so we can move to the point of contention, because everything you said so far, I don't have a problem with.
Well, I get that, and I just want to be able to explain why I'm saying what I'm saying. I am not morally conflicted about this. Okay. So like, I don't give a damn what it is. It's about opinion about what looks right and what doesn't. And if it's familiar to the people, and if it can be used, and if it can be, I guess, transmuted the right way from the right person that they can relate to, then that's all that really matters.
There's a lot of ifs in there.
Yeah, and I don't think we disagree on that, Victor.
It's utopia. It's utopia.
I just think the issue with what you're saying to me is that I don't think you're really pinpointing a real issue between us, because I agree with what you're saying. If I needed to go to the rolling 60s to do business, to get access to those people to accomplish my goals, I'm gonna do it just like you would. But the thing is, you'd have to prove that we need to do that, though, to make your point make sense.
I don't.
No. But here's the thing. Let me even go further. When because I'm assuming you had some combat MOS where you were moving around in austere environments over in the Middle East. So your experience, even on this panel, is not unique. That's different. Yeah. My point is, America doesn't pedestalize that leader. They don't put him out as the guy to follow. Mm-hmm. They don't give him a platform. They actually keep that stuff. The fact that they work with them in any capacity, they keep it a secret.
Yes,
because it's negative.
That's going against your point.
That we're compromising morally with these morally reprehensible people. So what you're talking about is behind the scenes stuff, but we're talking about this is not who I am showing to my children as the guy to follow. That was the original question. Should Nipsey Hussle be platform? Should he be given a platform? That's not. I don't care how much positive he's done in his own environment. Until he denounces the negative that he's done, all he's saying is, "Hey, you can still be successful even though you did this."
So
that's not the message that we're trying to push, is it?
Okay, so here's the thing, right? The companies that platformed him, should we be talking about them because Puma platformed him?
We don't got to pick one. We don't got to pick. We can discuss both.
I'm asking
your question.
We're shifting blame and accountability. We're talking about Nipsey in this conversation. We're not talking about Nipsey.
But I mean, that's the Nipsey topic. Hussle and that's the topic. It's like, should they be promoted? Puma is promoting Nipsey. I said it from beginning. No.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So, no matter if it's Puma, if it's us, BET, the Gram, it doesn't matter.
Hey,
he shouldn't be promoted, especially for the youth.
If you want to sell products, then they're gonna platform it. But
you can do that, yeah.
I'm with you on that. Again, Victor, we 100% agree on that.
But morally, I wouldn't do it.
That's the whole thing.
That was the question.
There we go. We're on the same page.
That was the point.
But
we're good.
I was talking. Only thing I was talking about is that I understand why they promote him. I understand why his side of town is going to promote him.
100% agree. 100% agree about that.
You said his side of town, but the Inglewood Bloods is not promoting him. His gang caused a lot of pain in that same. It's like when y'all think about when he created those businesses. Oh, it's for the community. The Bloods can go over there though. Was it really for the community, or was it really for that section of Roller 16 Crips?
Because that man did.
It's a subculture of black people that's benefiting from his businesses. It wasn't all black people.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, that's why I said all of his stuff is just localized. He didn't get a chance to
Very localized. We're talking about because I went to Slauson. I went to that area.
Me too. I've been down there, and it's not the big ass area that the people think it is. You know what I'm saying?
It's not what?
It's not
The big area.
area like everybody thinks it is. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is his impact was local. All of the other stuff that came national came through his music and everything else. But we talking about, I get his influence and how it's being perceived,
Facts.
whatever.
Facts.
I am not dismissing that. I wouldn't morally put my brand.
We're all on the same page.
All right, there we go.
We're on the same page.
Well,
We just got Bear left.
let's hear from Bear now.
We waiting on
We just got
Bear.
Bear left.
What?
He said I was over here trying to chill.
Be real with y'all, because I still go back.
We all on common ground. We waiting on you, Bear.
The hood. Them kids ain't listen to none of y'all niggas, but they're listening to them.
Yeah, they don't
Right.
know.
They definitely listen.
The problem is, what is Nip
But
saying?
they're listening to him.
They will listen to Nip, but I'm not gonna pedestalize Nip if he's not saying the right thing.
But hold on, this is the thing about that. Now you're trying to control it. Go, oh, you got to say this in order to do this. Well, come on, man. What is we doing?
Yeah, yes, there's a positive message and there's a negative message.
But,
Yes.
but what I'm saying, he was a producer. He wasn't promoting negativity.
So if
Listen,
the kids involved, we should.
Shout out to Bear
he
consistency.
has 3 mixtapes called "Bullets Don't Have No Name."
They don't.
Hey.
Somebody getting shot.
Bruh. And listen, bullets don't have a name. 3 came out right before the marathon. Like that's what I'm saying. It's a net positive and a net negative. You're saying because he started to do stuff later in life. He didn't even 180 on the negative stuff that he did. He never denounced the negative stuff he did. All he's saying is you could do everything that I did and still be successful.
He didn't have to. He didn't have to see. Y'all looking for words. I'm looking at action. I'm looking for the fact that that man was, like he said, he was.
But his impact is local. His action impact is local. His
music is global.
His music is global. He's telling people who never even thought about joining the Crips. Like,
I ain't got my point across ever since this came up. Let me finish. Let me talk for a second. Because every time I go to talking, I get cut off. Let me talk for a second.
Yes, sir.
What I'm saying is this. Now, like I was saying, he was working with the police department, okay? He did. That man was working. That man had a treaty. When he was alive, they had a treaty in LA. If gang violence was down a whole lot before he died. He had a treaty going on. He was doing a lot of different things in the community. So I don't want to hear about what he say. I look at actions because they always speak louder than words.
And his actions was he was still a Roll 60 Crip. That's his actions.
Yeah. Can I say something real quick too? Because this thing right here,
Actions was showing.
Bear. This is what you just explained. Because I want the audience to hear
His
this.
actions is Crip walking.
Bear.
Jobs in the neighborhood. His actions was he had a learning center.
He had that plus the Crippin'. He had both. That's all we say. Yes,
one does not excuse the other. That's why I said on the scale, you can add everything positive he did. That doesn't change the fact that he was. He's a gangbanger.
I just ain't one of the people that feel like you got
to be. All right, let me ask you this.
Bear.
Bear.
Hold on, I can't hear what Bear is saying right now. I can't hear what Bear is saying.
I want to ask him a question.
You don't have to be perfect, but do you have to be a net negative or a net positive? Which means do you have to have more? Like, I'm not perfect. None of us on this panel are perfect. Are we saying that no one's saying that you have to be perfect? It's a net positive and a net negative. Is your whole package more negative or more positive? His whole package, everything he has is negative.
I think we're just critiquing the negative because that's just us as black people. Always
that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest. He promoted that the most. Not just critiquing. He was more consistent promoting that.
Us as
We've acknowledged that he has positive impact. No one. I don't think anyone on this panel has said that.
They talking about making a business decision, bro. That's the point.
I'm talking about, are we going to promote? Is Nipsey Hussle who we're going to pedestalize?
He's had more of a positive impact than I have in the world. There's no doubt about that. But he's also had a massive negative impact that I couldn't even dream of.
That's the point. Is yes, he's done positive things.
Is that okay for me to say, Bear? Can I say that? Is that cool?
See, listen, this is the thing about it. But you know what, too? I'd rather deal with somebody up front with this shit than somebody hiding it. So
listen, one of the best
Again, that's the
tools that we
lesser of
have
evils.
against street one of the best tools that we as a community have against street culture or gang culture or the street life is the fact that, hey, there's only 3 ways out of it: jail,
Yeah.
or really two ways: jail or death. Either you're gonna die or you're going to jail, right?
But how is that out of it? How is jail out of it? I don't get how jail's out of it.
Because you just not in the
out of the
streets.
streets, not in the streets anymore.
You ain't in the streets no
Oh,
more.
I thought, there's only 2 ways out of the streets: a dead or in jail. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two ways out of the street life, because once you get out of into prison, that's where a lot of people convert and change their life and come out different. But my point is, one of our biggest tools is saying like, hey, there's only negative that comes from this, right? When you get Nipsey Hussle and Bear, you were saying that he's not promoting it. Up until he died, he was saying there's a third option. You could do all the negative stuff. You could rap about it, and then you could be successful. I never seen a better recruiting tool. You can do all.
If
the
you understand
stuff
marketing and business, that's
what I'm saying. I've never seen someone, hey, you can do all this bad stuff. It doesn't matter, bro, because if you rap about it and people feel your rap, you can be successful. You need dollars to do stuff. And then you also have to laud authenticity. Hey, but you can't just rap about somebody else's life. You have to rap about your stuff. So that means you have to do it. So I have to join a gang. I have to do gang things, and then I have to survive long enough to rap about it. And I'm good. No.
The authenticity, right? You was the main one saying you want your rappers to be authentic. You were the main one saying that.
You have to watch the pod back. I never said that.
Talk about authenticity and that you want them to be authentic.
I was speaking on the culture, the essence. That's not my privately held belief.
You can't be authentic. You got to be authentic in who you are. That's what we were speaking about, the authenticity. We were talking about authenticity as if that's what
he was authentically a gang member.
Yeah.
And therefore he doesn't get the platform.
But again, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying he was a fraud. I'm saying that if you want to be, if Nipsey Hussle is on your pedestal as the path to success, then you have to do everything he did.
It's a very attractive path.
You can't just skip gangbanging and rap about it. You have to actually do it. Because guess what? This is the path. Hey guys, look, Nipsey Hussle. He's a success. He's a positive influence.
Hold on, Barrett's saying something.
Listen,
he was frozen on my screen.
That the kid has to actually do what he did.
Add a D to that.
From a dummy, what not to do? You could look at somebody and see that ain't what I want to do.
Can you? I don't know. The gang recruitment is not dead, and yet guess what? We only see niggas die and go to prison from gang culture, and yet somehow niggas still keep getting members.
I feel, but see,
like we gotta understand, and I mean, come on, those of us who started businesses and had to recruit and all that kind of stuff, that is recruitment, making it look cool, talking about all the different opportunities. That's how you recruit in the military. That's how you recruit in any type of endeavor. You recruit by showing how cool it is and advertising all the advantages that come with it.
No,
when they recruit you to the Marines, they don't tell you about how many austere environment, how many times you have to sleep in the dirt, how often you get shot at. They don't tell you that stuff.
They was telling me about all the women and all that kind of stuff.
You're gonna get a Charger.
Yeah, you're gonna get a Charger, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, when you go to tech school and come out, bro, the girl's gonna be on you. You're gonna look crazy in the dress uniform. The dress blues is gonna get you to. That's what they tell you. They push the quote unquote positive stuff about it without acknowledging the fact that the rest of the iceberg is all BS.
Yeah, and the other part too is like, glad somebody else is up here with some military experience, because like if you put 2 uniforms in front of you, you can pick up this Crip flag, or you can go put on this U.S. flag and this uniform, go get these benefits.
They're gonna wave that flag.
Which one you gonna put on? You know what I'm saying?
On the left side.
Most of my friends growing up, they was gonna put on that gang flag over that military flag.
I get that. You know,
you got more women that way.
So in my point, and so like
you have to shave your chin hairs off.
Hold on, real quick. Only one of those uniforms don't require, and that's the problem with the net positive. listen, as a when you throw that flag on, violence is required of you. It comes with it. You could be a medic in the military and never commit violence.
Yep.
And they have rules, just war. They got certain rules they have to abide by. And if you overseas doing what you want to do, you will end up with an Article 15, whatever they call that stuff, and they will bring you to court when you get back over here.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing is too is that once you got those two options presented to you, the psychological imprint that you have is going to determine if you're going to pick up your flag or you're going to put on the uniform and get those name tapes across your chest and go represent overseas somewhere. And that the only thing that makes that different from person to person is if they have an example of it being successful. And if they don't see a successful example of it, they don't have nothing to compare it to.
That's what Nipsey provides. A successful example of it.
He's the biggest. He's one of the best recruiters for the Rolling 60s we ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he should be pedal.
Big U's wet dream.
Oh my God!
Calm down. See, why do you have to do that?
My fault. That was
bars. Now you made it weird.
Yeah, because like I can't in effect be a veteran and then advocate for people, you know what I'm saying, joining a gang or represent anything that joins you know what I'm saying, that aligns with it. That's why earlier when I was speaking about it, I'm like, well, I look at things like, why are people gravitating towards it, right? What would replace it and how could you change it? But no, that's not the question. I understand if you're talking about pedestalizing something, that's way different because perception is reality for a lot of people because they're not going to do any
especially for children,
especially the kids.
So in reality too, promoting gang culture is no different than promoting slut rap. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say feminism is thug life for women.
The only reason why I would say that gangster is worse.
That's a crazy tie-in.
The only reason why I would say promoting gangsterism is worse than slut rap is because gangsterism.
I watched you connect it.
It is a lot more organized, has been around for a lot longer, and it's men.
Yeah, they don't keep people like Amber Rose, like what's his name? He's about to come home now. The gangster disciple leader, Larry Hoover. They had him under 30, 40 years. You know, they looked at him as a domestic warlord. You know, I know he got into his political career later on, but you don't do that with women that's promoting slut culture. You know, we're talking about testosterone. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say real quickly because I mean, I don't know if Bear's coming back on again, but you know, we can just kind of go around. Oh, he's okay. I was gonna say, okay, if he's coming back, then I was gonna say we can just kind of go around and okay, but Bear's back now. So
I'm limited because for something going on with my phone not charging, so I ain't gonna be.
No, it's the Rolling 60s doing that to you.
You wild now.
You petty.
You wild.
Yeah.
So let me take it a little bit from the argumentation and the passion on that part and just say why it's so important to me, which we've all been saying here and there, and anybody can go afterwards on why their position is important to them. But for me,
can you go last now? Can you go last?
It don't matter. I don't mind going last. I mean, I guess we can just go around. You know,
I'll go ahead and start off. What I was saying as far as the idolized, why he should be idolized. A lot of us said it. Focus on this point pretty well as far as promoting. It's clear that he's promoting the gang violence, and you don't want somebody like that promoting such hatred, such violence, and it's contradicting himself where he's promoting helping the community. It's confusing for the youth. I don't think that's a good representation for the youth morally. That's not a good idea for our community because in our community, we, like I said, we suffer, according to the CDC, over 50%, most of the people are dying by gun violence, and gangs contribute a lot to that. So that was my reasons for early why somebody like that should not be idolized or glorified in any sense, especially for the youth, especially for the youth. So that's my closest thought.
Victor?
I just think it's overall risky, and it cuts off a lot of opportunities if you're trying to scale at some point It's going to always be an obstacle if you're doing business. But I do see the value of it in a localized area. So it's not whether or not it has, whether or not you consider something being pedestalized. I think that's kind of subjective. And, on some ends, it's just doing business.
He was doing crip business.
Yeah, exactly.
Bear, you want to go? What's just kind of sum up like 2 minutes or so what your point is?
I still feel like you should get the meat from the message and stop trying to dissect the messenger. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it ain't even you could get a message. Like, you ever seen a crackhead tell somebody not to do dope? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you should listen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it may not saying that to glorify, you know what I'm saying, his gang culture or whatever, but if he's deterring people and he's telling you don't be like me, I don't see nothing wrong with that. He's telling you be better than me, don't be like me. And I don't see nothing wrong with that at all.
That would be awesome if Nipsey was doing, if that's what he was doing. He definitely was not doing that.
That's what I got from a lot of his music.
Can you give us a quote of where Nipsey did that, please?
Nah, I really can't.
I'm about to say, give me one time when Nipsey denounced cripping. He never did it.
So you know what that would be called for the audience? That'd be called an argument from ignorance. You're basically making an argument, but you're saying you don't know that he actually ever said that.
I'm just saying I've heard his music like a lot. And I've never heard him recruit.
No. What you said was don't be like me, be better than me.
You can go look at it. I've seen him. He said that in interviews many times.
Artistic expression is something else than just what physical representation is.
I agree, but if that is your forward facing
representation,
then that's still recruitment. That's still pedestalization.
I'm with you. I understand that. Like, that's why I said earlier, perception is reality for a lot of people. They don't know. You don't walk up to people and introduce yourself with your music. They want to look at your exterior and they're gonna make whatever judgments that they're gonna see off of that. That's what I mean by when I say.
Well, the music comes first when it comes to artists, especially for our generation.
But
that's their introduction.
But the music is more important to the listener and the fan. But when we talk about pedestalizing and representation, perception, nobody has to hear anything that you do. They just have to see your impact and your influence on others and decide if they want to go with it. Then they look at who you influence, you know what I'm saying, from that point. Just like if you want to promote to the gender neutral rainbow community, right? You're not going to go get Andrew Tate.
Sorry, real quickly, did Fresh, did you already say yours? So I know Enos went, Victor went, Bear went, and then I think it's on you now, Freshly. It's just a summation of your point.
So my point is that if we're talking about pedestalization and promoting someone who's promoting negative, I don't mind that we have someone who's been through some things. I'm not saying that they need to be perfect. What I need is the message to say what I went through is not the right way. As long as you're saying that you can still be successful via the negative ways that I got here, you are pedestalizing and promoting that lifestyle. And even if you take it to a business standpoint, we have to consider how much does the business care about the community, right? Does Puma? Do you think Puma cares about us, or are we a vehicle? So yeah, who's the most popular out there? Yeah, I'm gonna pick Nipsey Hussle. I'm gonna give him a shoe. That doesn't moralize what Nipsey Hussle's message is. And at best, Nipsey Hussle's message, and I'm not knocking him because I like his music, but at best, he was a walking contradiction. At best, he's saying do positive things while still representing one of the most morally reprehensible organizations that in America. So we to what Bear said, this is gonna be the last thing I said. Bear said get the meat from the message. I'm saying take the whole message. What I think what you're doing is taking what you want from it and leaving everything else. But that's not the full meal. if you're going to judge somebody based on what they're doing, you have to judge them based on all the stuff that they're doing. Take the entire chicken away. You don't just peel off the meat and leave the bones, because that's still part of the chicken.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna start off by reading this Romans 1:32. It says that those who practice evil and also approve of those who practice evil are worthy of death. So it's not just people who are actually doing it, but if you're approving of people who are doing those kind of things, you're guilty like they are, because the bigger group is always going to be those who are not doing it but approving of it. We know from World War II what they had the Germans do after they got rid of all this. The war ended, they surrendered, all that kind of stuff. They made those Germans walk through those camps to see what was actually going on, because they wanted them to be able to see all the things that they allowed to happen in their backyard. My issue, and going to my point of this thing, we have Michael Eric Dyson, a very prominent Black scholar who could promote so many different Black people in the community. I think Victor would be a great guy to pedestalize and give platform to in the community. I'd have rather Michael Eric Dyson have mentioned him. Now, obviously, hopefully we get there at some point in time. Why do we got to accept the gang membership and the gang promotion when we got plenty of guys who are talking about entrepreneurship and positivity that don't have that negativity attached to it? Because as one grows, the other is going to grow. If I'm a gang member and I'm a businessman, as I get more successful in business, I'm promoting myself. So also the gangster part's promoting. If I become a more famous gangster, it's helping support my businesses as well. That's basic business. Everybody understands that. So if anybody suggests that it's not promotion of both of them at the same time, the bigger that he gets, just doesn't understand business yet. You heard it saying all publicity is good publicity. There's a reason why that saying is there. Now, that's not always true, but it's generally true. Kanye West can say anti-Semitic things. Kanye West can do hip hop. He's one of the biggest names in the world.
Yeah.
So my point is just saying this. We have erudite, an intellectual on the Drink Champs who's talking about how remarkable this guy is. That's a gang member, when there's so many folks that are trying their best to do the right thing. We all grew up around environments where it would have been cool to become a gang member. We'd have got more girls off becoming a gang member.
It was almost expected.
It was almost expected to become that. I got people try to recruit me a couple of times to do that kind of stuff. The thing is, it took being a real man and not being cowardly to say, I'm not going to go that route. But that's not what gets put to the forefront. It's the guy who joined the gang and he does something positive. I'm doing something positive, but I didn't join the gang. He doing something positive, but he did join the gang. But the one we platform, the one that we praise, the guy who did the gang and did something positive too, isn't he the lesser of the two men? Snoop Dogg fearful. He did the interview with Jada Pinkett. A lot of these gang members were afraid. They were cowards. And their brother didn't join the gang, or somebody they knew didn't join the gang, and took the ridicule and the hazing in their community because they didn't join the gang. Why are we not celebrating that person? There's the kid who felt like he had to join the gang. Nipsey is a different story. Nipsey was like, I guess, made a promise that he was gonna like join the gang, and I think he asked Charleston White was talking about. He asked somebody, why you became a gangster, and Nipsey promised he was gonna become a gangster and put everybody and rep the set really hard. So he had like this heroic journey that he felt he had to go on in quest to become this big gangster and stuff like that. And he never recanted that. He still supported it until the day he died, and it cost him his life. So I think that when we have intellectuals like Michael Eric Dyson, or entrepreneurs like Bear supporting that stuff, I think it's sending a wrong message to the audience. And that's why, to me, it's a big deal. And that's why, to me, it's not just an intellectual conversation or fun conversations, because all of us got to look, behind our back. We're at the ATM because little kids think it's cool. You get more girls, you get the fame, and it doesn't cost you anything to be a gang member, because you can still do all the things that Victor's doing, all the things that Vulcan's doing, all the things that Freshly Enos are doing, all the things that Bear's doing. And my affiliation is not going to stop me from getting access to anything. That's the wrong message.
Even the numbers don't support it, because for every Nipsey, there's probably 20 to 25 Crips who are dead or in jail.
Yeah.
It's not
for every.
And that's the difference between fearless recklessness and true competence. Because competence, you're aware of your consequences, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of gamers are not aware of the consequences, and that's why they go out the way they go out. So
I think
that's confusing the youth.
And this is why I talk about the crossroad of making a disciplined versus an undisciplined decision every time. And if your options are already capped, meaning like the people around you can't present you with a different way out, and all you're getting is red or blue based on the side of the street that you live on, and nobody you know has been surrounded by people that have left where they're from. And you know, those family bonds are the hardest ones to break across the board, no matter where you live. You know, like the romantic, the stress that you feel maybe in romantic relationships, a lot of it is just like the same relationships you got in your family, where you're trying to be heard or be seen, or get somebody else to take your guidance and your leadership or whatever. And then it's a constant conflict, you know, where you're trying to find your independence and be the person that you're meant to be, but you can't do it where you are. You have to step out. What was that verse where they say a man is more famous in another town than he is where he's from? What?
A prophet not respecting his own town.
Yeah, a prophet not respected in his own town, right? And everybody has to leave where they are in order to be seen, or at least be presented with a different audience so they can see, so they can have something else to compare it to.
So my audio went out real quick, Victor. I just want to say this, and this is something that me and Enos have discussed a number of times, because I've been in the biggest cities in America, and I've also been in smaller cities in America. There's a difference between these big city hoods and these small town hoods. These guys in these big city hoods are seeing everything. If you're in Houston, if you're in Chicago, if you're in LA, if you're in New York, Manhattan's right there. They're watching, they see everything. They don't have the same excuses as somebody in Mississippi, some small town in Mississippi that's in the hood. That's way different. I mean, I know you agree with me, but real quickly, one quick example, Gilly talks about that. He's from Philly. Philly's the 6th biggest city in the country, right? Gilly said he went to New Orleans and he was like, I thought we was poor. They are po down here. So my point is saying that these guys in LA and New York and Chicago and Houston, being in Houston and stuff, I tell you that stuff, these guys had access to everything. They can have no excuse why they chose to live the gangster lifestyle, because they got the Galleria, they got downtown, they got Midtown, they got celebrities walking around, they got Hollywood, they have
even
so
those
much
poor
access.
kids got the internet in their pocket.
Yeah.
So for the last decade, that's not an excuse either.
In the pocket.
No, it's the truth though, because that's one of the things I'm saying. It's like this thing right here tells you how you think. You see, like this thing right here, if you pulled up anybody's search history, it'll tell you what they think about. What they interact with.
But the phone is not telling them what to think.
All right,
the phone
fellas,
is
we got wrapped up.
supporting
It's almost
his
4
bias.
hours.
Yeah. I'm
If you
saying,
look at my mom's phone, ain't none of that stuff in there.
Yeah, exactly. Because it lets you know what they pay attention to, is what I'm saying. And if they don't use it at all, it'll let you know what they use it for. So we just got to use our technology better. We got no excuses. People is connected all over the world, and they can get whatever answer they want. And people is figuring this stuff out long before YouTube, before social media, before the internet, and they got to pick better. They got more options.
All right, I didn't see you like this. I've been watching you for a little bit. You got a lot. This is a different conversation today, man. I'm glad you was definitely on to experience this with us and give your perspective. It was always a pleasure to have you on, man. And it was fun, fresh and Vulcan. So let's go ahead and
Bear.
Oh my God, Bear too. So we might just need to do a part 2 of this.
I think we pretty much said everything we have to say on this.
I think it's well beat to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, if you think we
I
got
don't like
part 2.
I don't like that.